Welcome back into the Daily Dose. I'm your host, Jeff Hansen. As always, the show is brought to you by Give'emHellBrigham.com and by CougarSportsInsider.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. And it's that 24/7 side that we're going to lean into today. We are talking recruiting here today, folks, and specifically BYU's recruiting at the quarterback position and some of the things that Aaron Roderick and the BYU coaching staff have done over the last couple of weeks, how it could potentially set BYU up in the future. Before we get into that, if you have yet to do so, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and help us grow this platform here on YouTube. We're gonna take over the world, man. We're gonna take over the world and have the best in-season coverage that you've ever seen anywhere from BYU football. So don't miss a second. Subscribe today, and you won't miss any of that. Today, we're talking quarterbacks, and I want to start with Enoch Watson. BYU offered Enoch Watson a couple of weeks ago. He's now at American Leadership Academy in Queen Creek, playing for Ty Detmer and for Max Hall. Watson he's lightly recruited right now. BYU is his only offer, but he's going to pull in some bigger offers. When you watch him play, he's got some Zach Wilson in him. He's got some like backyard football skills that just his ability to extend the play and find an open guy and hit on big plays is unique. It's a skill that needs to be refined within the construct of an offense, but he's got those raw skills to be very, very good at the college level, right? Remember Zach Wilson, especially in 2020, his escapability, his ability to find guys downfield while being chased. People compared him to Johnny Manziel throughout the year. Those are high comparisons for a guy like Enoch Watson, and that's not what I'm trying to say. I don't know that Enoch necessarily has the arm talent that Zach Wilson had, but he's incredibly accurate. He's incredibly mobile, but he wants to throw the ball. He doesn't want to be a run-first quarterback. He is a pass-first quarterback who can run, and when you watch him play, he's got a lot of those Zach Wilson-type tendencies. He is now playing for Ty Detmer and Max Hall. He was in a run-first offense during his junior year. Now he's going and playing in a more modern style offense at ALA, and I expect Ty Detmer and Max Hall to take Enoch Watson to an entirely different level as a high school quarterback. More offers will come. I think big offers are coming. Enoch Watson is special. He will go on a mission, presumably. I guess it's assumed right now. You never know. When it comes to missions, even the people who are dead set on going on a missions, I like to leave just a little bit of room for plans to change because plans do change. But I think right now his plan is to go on a mission first. Of course, BYU will accommodate a mission whether or not he goes. Enoch is the younger brother of Pearson Watson, who signed with BYU last year, and he's from the Jaden Wagner, Aaron Wagner family. I believe it's his mom who is their sister. So BYU runs through the Watson family blood, and I think that Enoch Watson and BYU, I think there's a high likelihood that there will be a marriage there in the future. I want to talk about Dermaricus Davis from Etiwanda High School. BYU offered him, and they're trying hard to get him in for an official visit this June. He's already got officials scheduled with Arizona, with Oregon State, and with Washington. BYU would love to bring him in. And from purely, before we get into what kind of player Davis is, BYU has a unique pitch. DJ Uiagalelei just signed with Oregon State, and he's probably going to be the quarterback there for a couple of years. Arizona is chasing several several high school quarterbacks who would be freshmen. I believe they probably have a few guys rated higher on their board than they do Davis. So unless Davis was ready to commit today, I think that Arizona would still recruit over him if they could. And Washington already has EJ Kaminong committed, a near 4-star quarterback. So will they take two? How does that play a role? It's going to be interesting because BYU has a senior quarterback in Keaton Slovis, and then a pretty open quarterback room. Davis could come in and compete for early playing time and have a chance to win a spot as a true freshman. Obviously, he'd be coming in behind guys like Jake Retzlaff and Ryder Burton, Cade Finnegan. But from a talent standpoint, he's a big, tall, slender guy who can move, and he's going to have the ability to potentially knock those guys off and maybe find his name ahead of theirs on the depth chart. Davis, 6'4", nearly 200 pounds. He can run, but again, he is a thrower. He's got a big arm. He likes to sit in the pocket and look over the top of his offensive line. He throws. His mechanics are really, really really, really good. He throws for a high ball, and he's able to find receivers in stride. It's kind of different than what we've seen from Jaron Hall, who was 6 foot 6'1", and he had to make up for his height in the way that he threw the deep ball. He was still accurate, but just the way that Davis throws and the way that a guy like Hall throws, it just looks different. Hall's an exceptional talent. He's obviously in the NFL. I'm not trying to say one's better or the other, because that argument is very clear right now. But just stylistically, it's very different watching Davis play than watching Hall play, even though you might have the tendency to say that their skill sets are similar. The last quarterback to talk about today, BYU just offered him yesterday, Carson Suesue, just relocated from Northern California, and it will play at Granger High School here in the Salt Lake City area for his senior year. Suesue, I had a chance to see him play a few weeks ago at the 801 evaluation. Another big guy. He's 6'5". He's pretty slender right now, but he's got a big frame that you could see that he's going to put on some more pounds. He really could probably play linebacker if they wanted him to. And frankly, I think that Carson is open to just playing anything. He just wants to be a football player, but he's a darn good quarterback. And I think that's where BYU wants to look first, is give him a chance to play quarterback if they were to be able to sign him. He's got a big arm. He's really accurate. He is mobile, but he's not as mobile as the other two. He's more of a mobile to free up the pass, right? To escape pressure, to extend a play and find a receiver downfield. Carson Suesue, I think of all three of these guys, he's got the most raw potential. I think Enoch Watson is special, and he's going to develop. I think Dermaricus Davis could compete for early playing time. I think with Carson Suesue, you don't know who he is yet. His body still hasn't developed. He's still learning the speed of the game. And going into Granger High School, it's not an offense that's typically known for lighting up the scoreboard or developing quarterbacks. So when you watch him play, you really have to get into like the fundamentals and the raw talent and the potential that's there. And he checks all of those boxes. With the right development and the right quarterback coach, Carson Suesue could be a very, very good quarterback at the college level. I like all three of these options for BYU. Like I say, I assume Enoch Watson wants to go on a mission. Carson Suesue told me just this morning, actually, that he'll play any position that BYU or any other school wants him to, so long as that school honors his mission plan. So that's his plan as well. So Davis is the only guy who could potentially play a role in 2024, but all three of these are guys who could potentially play a role at BYU at some point in the future. All three of them are names that if you at all care about recruiting, you should be paying attention to, because I can see a scenario where each of them sign with BYU and commit. And frankly, I could see a scenario where if BYU does well, all three of them sign with BYU and join the Cougar family. Stay tuned to the Daily Dose, and stay tuned to Give 'em Hell Brigham for your latest information and news on all things BYU. And until next time, give 'em hell.